This is weird. Well, hello there. Remember me? Feels good and weird to be back. My first video for this year. I will give you an update about this channel, I guess, and what has happened in 2021 for me overall. This is really weird. I'm not really used to making this kind of video because it feels easier to do that on Twitch when you're talking to people, or even if nobody's watching, you potentially have somebody listening, but recording a video is so weird to me, I don't know. And I don't know what's wrong with my throat again. So let's see what happened. The first few months of 2021, that was just the usual. I was still in Stockholm, I was streaming, I was happy living my life. In April, I think, my SSD broke and Windows was installed on that one, but my community replaced it after a week and everything went back to normal from that point on. Shortly after that, I found out that Panda will do an internship at Cloud Imperium Games. He was about to finish the school part, and then in May, I think we cancelled our apartment contract to move back south to his mom to save money for the trip. So nothing special really happened during that time. We were just preparing a lot. And in June, we did even more preparations for the move, trying to organize everything to make it as smooth as possible. And in July, we moved down. We were actually driving, it took about 9 hours or so. Then we also booked a lot of appointments to get our vaccines done, so we could leave by the end of August, because that was the time he was supposed to leave, or because that's when he would start working. But we had like an insane visa delay. He also had to do a language test, and we were basically stuck for a really long time. Like, everything was delayed. They kept asking for more information. We had to book an appointment for that language test, and it wasn't even in Sweden, so we had to go to Denmark, had to take the train over to Copenhagen. Thankfully, that wasn't too far away from where we lived, but the other alternative would be to go to England to do an English test in order to be able to move in. Like, that doesn't make any sense, that's super stupid. Or we could go back to Stockholm, but we just, in the first place, didn't even know that he had to do a language test. So yeah, that had to be taken care of. That happened to be on my birthday, on the 15th September. So we were already like 2 weeks delayed from the point where he was supposed to start. And because of this delay, I didn't really feel too happy. I wanted to just get it done and like be able to take care of things, you know, like deal with the packing and everything. So I wasn't able to do anything because I didn't know when. We were also already looking for an apartment over there, but that's first of all really hard because we didn't have a visa, we didn't have like an English bank account, and like there are just no offers to buy or rent an apartment if you're coming from outside. So thankfully we didn't get anything yet because we really didn't think it would take that long to get our visa. I thought it would be delayed for, I don't know, a few weeks. But in the end, we were delayed for 2.5 months. COVID didn't help, obviously, so everything just got worse from that point on. That's why from the 16th to, what was it, 23rd, I think? That's when I went back to Germany to visit my own family. I wanted to reset my head a little bit because I wasn't really happy. Got to see my brother, my parents, my cat. So it was alright. I also got to meet 2 of my friends. They are mods in my channel, and we met through Twitch, and they happened to live in the same city as I used to live in Germany. So that was interesting because we met for the first time. And then it was October. We were still stuck. I tried to just stream and pass time as usual, keep myself distracted. We met Panda's family for the last time. We also celebrated his birthday because it was in October. And we thought we would just say goodbye to them because, you know, like any moment now we're gonna leave and move to the UK, you know, but that never happened. And then also, the one thing that kept me happy was to stream, and I couldn't do that anymore. Apparently my graphic card broke. I couldn't stream and I couldn't make videos properly anymore. I was still able to sometimes do stuff and play games, but I would crash so many times. I don't know, like sometimes there would be a blue screen or my PC just goes black. The PC was pretty old already, so I'm not really surprised that this was happening. I mean, the SSD broke before, then we already replaced the power supply at some point. I upgraded the CPU at some point. It's just like the whole machine was super old already, so there was honestly even a time where I was looking into therapy because I was really not happy during that time, but I wasn't really able to afford it. So instead I actually dyed my hair to distract my brain and focus on something affordable that I liked. I was still able to at least play some games, as I said, but yeah, I didn't stream since October. And by the end of November, when we were supposed to leave end of August, we finally got the news that we got approved. We booked a flight and so on as soon as possible. We moved into a corporate flat that the company provided us, so we were living with some roommates. We stayed there until the beginning of January 2022, and we just took that time to get used to England. Like, everything is super weird. Oh yeah, and also end of November was the time when my mom went to hospital. She had a minor stroke, so that kind of made me feel a bit weird because I just got here, and then I was thinking about going back to her again, but because of COVID restrictions I would not be able to even visit her at the hospital. So I ended up not going because, like, I don't know, it's hard, like, you lack money. The hospitals don't let you in. I have no idea how long she's gonna stay there and what's wrong. I did want to see her, of course, after this happened, but there was just no way. It felt bad to stay here, but it also felt bad to go there again because I would waste so much money on a short-term, not short-term, book something short-term. It would be expensive, and like, what do I do? I'm just sitting at home not being able to actually get to her. So we just made sure that we were video chatting and stuff. God, my voice, by the way, I speak like I'm, I don't know, a nervous wreck. This is weird. Okay, I'm gonna get used to it. I need to get back to things again, slowly. So the good thing is my mom actually recovered again. She didn't have any permanent damage. She's currently being treated with a lot of pills and other stuff. She's going to the hospital very often for checkups. She also got a surgery for her heart because that was basically the problem. When her blood pressure is either too high or too low, then there is no proper blood flow to your brain. And that's why there is a part that didn't have enough blood. So that's why it shut down. My brother noticed that she was being weird, and that's why he brought her to the hospital, because she couldn't remember his name and she was just talking nonsense. So like, a part of her brain was just kind of offline, and that has been fixed eventually. So she retained all her memories again and she seems back to normal. So now she has a pacemaker, and hopefully that's gonna prevent future strokes. So this was very taxing on my brain for a long while. Also, there would be another problem that if I would test positive for COVID and come back to the UK, and I'm living with 3 roommates plus my partner, so we're 5 people in total, and I would have to quarantine, then everybody else has to as well. So everything was just really complicated. So it was just not really possible for me to go anywhere. But yeah, as I said, since the beginning of January, we are now living in our own apartment. I spent a shit ton of time looking for apartments, and we got really lucky because this was the first one that I actually went to view. Like, you get to view the property before you apply to rent it. That's what I did, and we actually got this one. It's quite pricey, and it's like the smallest apartment that we've had so far. But it's good enough for what we need right now. I mean, we will probably move again next year, possibly. It depends on a lot of factors, like it depends on the studio moving to the center of Manchester. It depends on whether or not he can maybe work from home, so we might not have to move to the center. He doesn't really want to live there anyway, and I don't really care. I mean, I just want my walls, basically. So yeah, that's what I had to take care of all the time. I was planning like the viewings, appointments, and I took care of the contract and like the key pickup and so on. I was looking up things to order. I had to look at like good quality stuff, not too expensive, all necessities and so on. The space is unfurnished, so unfortunately that was really expensive. First of all, like the move, the visa, as in costs, deposit, rent, then there's council tax that you need to pay, electricity is separate, and what was it? Water you also have to pay separately. So that's like so many things that you need to take care of. That is completely different in Germany and Sweden, where basically what you pay for rent, what's on the contract is usually including everything that you need to pay. And here it was like, oh, okay, we pay this much. Oh, well, okay, there's another bill of like $100. That's another $100 bill, and here's another 60. Oh, well, suddenly everything costs like $250 more, or $260, that we didn't expect. But things are actually pretty all right. We managed just fine. And about a week into living here, we had trouble with our neighbor who's living downstairs. There were police cars, there were fire trucks. That was such a weird event, because that day his fire alarm went off like 3 times. I was like, what the fuck is he cooking? And then the 4th time happened around midnight. It went off for like 30 minutes. It didn't stop. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, can he not just turn it off? Or like fix the smoke, or what's going on? And neighbors started to worry, and they came out, and I was at the window. I didn't dare to go downstairs because he seems like such a weird person that I don't want anything to do with. But I saw the neighbors outside, so I opened the window and I talked to them, and they were like, what the fuck is going on? He didn't respond. They knocked at his door, they tried to, make noise, and nothing happened. It smelled really bad. Then the police came and we went outside, because then we felt like safer. We didn't want to really get in touch with this neighbor. Then they said he just forgot his food in the oven. Like, that's all he did. There was no fire, it was just food in the oven, and he never turned it off. Why? Because he fell asleep. He fell asleep in like an apartment that was fully smoked, and a fire alarm that just didn't stop, and it was driving me crazy. But yeah, that was sorted out. He usually is a very, very loud neighbor. He's just playing music like 24/7. Panda was not able to sleep, and we were like, fuck, this area is really nice. It's very calm, like a nice neighborhood and everything. But then just this one neighbor, we were so unlucky with that. And he also only just moved right after us. So like the person who was living here before us, he didn't have this issue. So we were really just unlucky with that. So I contacted my landlord and everything. The police was aware of that already because we talked to them. There were people who would take care of that. Like there was what do you call it? Like antisocial behavior specialists that would go there and talk to him and, like deal with that. And I can also like send complaints to them if that would ever happen again. But he has been quiet ever since. Unfortunately, the grocery store is too far away. I would have to walk at least 30 minutes to get there. So we actually have to order it online. But I do get a lot of shit for free. Like I got Amazon Prime because we had to order so much shit. And we're actually keeping it because I can connect it to a lot of things where I can get free delivery and stuff. I got like a whole week of free food from HelloFresh. I got like free multivitamin pills. We got 3 bottles of wine for free. Like so many other food deals with Prime, and also like, I don't know, I ordered so much shit. And yeah, now we are here. I've waited since October to get a computer ever since my GPU broke. I finally can get back to my usual stuff after being so extremely patient. I finally started healing mentally, feeling much better to have my own place again. And there are so many differences here in England. It really is something to get used to, but we're getting there. So what has been different here? The first things that I've noticed was that it was really cold inside, like insulation in these apartments was really, really bad. And it just doesn't retain heat very well in general. Those that have been on my bot test stream, they know, because I've been wearing something, like I've been wearing a hoodie. I never wear hoodies. I only have 2. And one of them I've never worn in my life, and that was the first time I actually did. The people have been really friendly. I mean, like overly friendly. I'm not just friendly, but like overly friendly. Ever since the first person that we encountered here to like the lady at the grocery store, like anywhere, people are super nice. And as I said before, like the cars driving on the wrong side of the road, the wheel being on the other side, I was so confused. There was one day I walked to the grocery store and then I looked at the cars that were at the traffic light and I was like, what the fuck, that's a kid at the driver that's a kid at the driver's like side. But then I remembered, oh yeah, that's just the passenger seat. Also, another thing I noticed is there are switches on outlets. That is so weird. I've never seen that before. And also one thing that I noticed when I went to the store was when I tried to buy coffee and tea. Tea doesn't have any like strings attached to them. I mean, I found some now, but it wasn't easy to find. I mean, they just have the tea bags and then you just put it in your cup, but then you have to take a spoon to take it out. Like, well, how inconvenient is that? That's one of the first thing I noticed. They also don't seem to have like ground coffee and normal filters and normal coffee machines. I couldn't find any of that at this store. I had to actually order it online, and Panda is actually importing Swedish coffee so he can have like a good coffee, because I bought something weird that was like a plastic cap that you were supposed to put on the cup and then you pour in water and there's like coffee in there. Like, well, I've never seen that shit either. Something else that also seems to be a common thing is that you have a washer and dryer in the kitchen. For us, it's more common to have that stuff in the bathroom or like in a separate room, but it always seems to be in the kitchen, like next to the stove or something, or next to the sink. And this is also the first time we have a washer and dryer in one. Like I didn't even know that existed. I always had like a washing machine and a dryer separately. And also the fact that they seem to be so far behind with recycling. That's so weird. I mean, both in Germany and Sweden, we have like 10 different bins, like 4 of them just being paper and 4 of them just being plastic, and then like 3 for like different kinds of glass, and then the general trash. So like you sort between paper and plastic and different kinds of glass, so like green, white and brown glass and so on. So you have to sort those things. And here you just have general waste or recycling. And recycling, you just put everything. You can put glass there, you can put paper and plastic, it doesn't matter, just put it all together. But also if you look at products that you buy from the store, then they have these little labels what you can recycle. So many times there's like a plastic package. So if you remove the film on top, that you cannot recycle apparently. But the lower part of the plastic, that you can recycle, or the paper around it, you can recycle. Same with bottles, like you can recycle the bottle, but not the cap. It's super weird. And also, one more last thing, when you lock doors, apparently you put the handle up to lock it. I mean, that's something that we don't have in Sweden and Germany. I don't know, it was just something you needed to get used to, but yeah, I just have never seen it before. Like the handle it looks broken to me, but that's just how you lock things. That's what I've noticed so far. What I've been up to without a PC, I basically just got used to living with roommates at first. I figured out ways to save money and to get food and check out the area. I mostly played on the Switch on the big TV. We had a big TV. You can check out the website. I uploaded some pictures, by the way, but I can also show some below. I was basically just talking to mostly like 2 friends. I was withdrawing myself from the rest for some reason. I just needed to keep to myself somehow. Did daily exercises at home. I spent most of the time trying to find apartments as soon as possible because we couldn't stay at the corporate flat for very long. We were supposed to get out, I think, the 10th of January, because they couldn't extend our stay there anymore because they're bringing more people in, and you know, yeah, we were just not supposed to stay there forever. It was just to help us transition and then find our own place. So we had time until the 10th of January, and I managed to get this apartment for the 7th. First, the plan was to move in on the 20th, so that would mean we would have to stay at a hotel or something, but we got lucky that the previous tenant left the apartment earlier, so we were also able to move in earlier. My voice. I can't talk so much. So yeah, when we moved, I basically was just taking care of everything, ordering things, food, whatever we needed, just making sure everything's taken care of, so Panna can just like do his work and I take care of everything else. Dealt with internet, the food, the bills, everything that you need. And what are my plans for the future? I mean, I also took some time to write an application for jobs here. I finally got the courage to get over that hurdle after not working for so long, other than being a streamer and doing sponsored streams, which was my only income all this time. I haven't gotten a reply yet, but at least I wrote the personal letter and I put my CV together and so on, and I sent it in, and let's see if they're interested. I barely have any experience other than being a vet nurse, so getting into the gaming industry isn't that simple, but we will see. Also, the studio is going to a bigger office of like 1,000+ people, so that means there must be a lot more job offers, right? So maybe we can get lucky. But yeah, for now that I have a PC again, I guess I'm mostly just getting back to enjoying all this, get back to streaming, making videos, finally playing games again. This is just who I am, this is what makes me happy, and I would like to stick to it. My most recent videos were Star Citizen related, and I will probably stick to it, but we will see how things turn out and just go with the flow. So anyway, I spent most of my recent time just to try and save money. I've always been good at saving stuff and knowing how to spend or not spend it, so we can still enjoy certain things with lower income. I've been finding a lot of deals and using the money I saved for something else and so on, so we can have certain things anyway. Of course, I get a lot of help from family and amazing friends, and Panda is basically solo carrying us for most of it with his income, so things are pretty alright. So yeah, about the move next year, we have no idea how to plan that yet, we can't really think about it. It just depends on too many factors and we can't plan around it yet, but for now we're just gonna live here and do our stuff. Okay, so I hope this covered everything from last year, mostly. It's also an update about how things will go in the future with this channel, and hopefully things will just get better from this point on. To be honest, I really miss this, even if this is so weird and my voice is completely fucked and everything, I don't know. I'm awkward, I'm weird, but somehow you're still watching, so I missed all of you. And also thank you so much to those that have supported me during this time, especially. To those that reached out to me or gave me something financially to get the PC back again. I wouldn't be able to do this without you. So this means I will be back to streaming very, very soon. I just need to install some programs and get everything back to where it was. So thank you for watching. I will see you soon again. Bye bye bye.